Key for all these changes. A comprehensive and transparent PMS, performance management system, is introduced besides extending ESOP to all the staff members as a part of employee satisfaction and career development initiative. You all know that transformation is a journey which is regarded as a work in progress. Through transformation exercise, we have laid a strong foundation for a sustainable growth and development of the bank. We are now focusing on its sustainability, consolidation and acceleration. My dear well-wishers of Karnataka Bank, I am also very happy to inform that bank has been very actively involved in meeting its social obligations through its corporate social responsibility initiatives in the areas of education, livelihood enhancement, empowering socially and economically disadvantaged, environmental sustainability, green initiatives, healthcare, Swachh Bharat, etc. You name any CSR activity, you will find Karnataka Bank there across India. Since last 4 years, I am very happy to share with you that we have supported 826 projects across India with the bank's assistance amounting to 31.47 crores for under our CSR activities. As a mark of respect to our founders, today on this auspicious occasion, we have invited 3 beneficiaries under CSR program of the bank who will be given the sanction letters later in this program. We have started this tradition of conducting Founders Day celebration on 18th February of every year, about 22 years back, that is during 1998, in a very systematic way to remember the founding fathers of the bank and also their yeoman service to the society. We bow our head to those great souls who had sown the seed of this great organization on this day in 1924. My respectful homage to the first 9 founding directors of the bank. They are Sri B.R. Vasrai Achar, Sri Nellikai Venkatrao, Sri Pejavar Narayanacharya, Sri Kalmadi Lakshmi Narayan Rao, Sri Pangal Subbarao, Sri Udupi Venkatrao, Sri Sheshabhat Bide, Sri Narikombo Ramarao and Sri Kakkunje Sadashiva Adiga. It is also my bounden duty to invoke the blessings of the doyen of the bank, late Sri K. Suryanarayan Adiga. It is he who tirelessly steered the bank for over 4 decades as chairman of this great bank. On this occasion, let us also salute with great respect and gratitude to all the past chairmen of the bank who have contributed their might for all-round growth of Karnataka Bank. They are late Sri B.R. Vasrai Acharya, late Sri K. Suryanarayan Adiga, late Sri K.N. Basri, late Sri P. Raghuram, Sri P. Sundar Rao, late Sri H.M. Ramarao, Sri U.V. Bhatt, late Sri M.S. Krishna Bhatt, and Sri Ananta Krishna, as well as our present chairman, Sri P. Jairam Bhatt, who also had the unique privilege of being the first MD and CEO of our bank. Every year, we have been inviting eminent personalities of national and international repute from different walks of life to deliver Founders Day lecture. This year also, we are very fortunate that a well-respected, internationally renowned banker, Srimati Arundhati Bhattacharya, the first ever woman chairman of State Bank of India, in its long history of 210 years, he is kind enough to accept our invitation to address us on this memorable occasion. In fact, when I met her in the IBA office about a month back at Mumbai last month, I was simply moved by her simplicity, professionalism, and her passion for banking. Today, she is going to talk on the subject, a peep into the future banking. All of you would agree that the days would be more challenging not only to your respective industry or the sector, more so for the banking sector. What type of challenges that we have, that we can envision, and how we can address those challenges, how the technology would come to our rescue. Definitely you will hear a great sharing of thoughts by none other than a very leading banker, Mrs. Arundhati Bhattacharya. I am sure you will all appreciate this timely subject, a very relevant subject as well. Mrs. Arundhati Bhattacharya is a retired Indian banker, and she has more than 40 years of rich and varied experience coupled with thorough insights of banking industry and its related technology, which not only enabled her to put her imprint on the Indian financial space, but was also acknowledged and acclaimed globally. She transformed SBI to a tech-savvy bank. She won many international accolades and recognitions in the past, which include figuring in the list of most powerful women by Forbes and Future, or Forbes and Fortune. Number 2, most powerful women in finance. Number 3, world's top 100 thinkers. Number 4, Fortune's greatest leaders, and being acknowledged internationally for her bank's employee satisfaction level. She has been recently bestowed with Lifetime Achievement Award by Financial Express Group in Best Bankers category. Presently, she is on the boards of prominent Indian companies with Reliance Industries, Piramal, Wipro and CRISIL, and offers advisory services to select private equity firms, consultancy and law firms, as well as foreign banks. Government has nominated her to various select committees like Lokpal Search Committee, Padma Awardees Selection Committee, SEBI's Mutual Fund Advisory Committee, National Coal Index Committee, etc. She is also on the governing board of IIT Kharagpur and IIM Sambalpur. Mrs. Bhattacharya is a postgraduate in English and an associate member of Indian Institute of Bankers. I deem it a great privilege to have such an outstanding personality amidst us today. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Mr. Arundhati Bhattacharya, our celebrated Secretary. I am happy to inform you that he has been recently elected unanimously as the chairman of the Governing Council of Southern India Bankers Staff Training College, SIBTC, Bengaluru. I extend a warm welcome to our beloved chairman, P. Jairam Bhatt, to this function. The bank has a galaxy of professional directors on the board who take utmost care to steer the bank on the path of growth and success with the highest standard of corporate governance. I recognize the august presence of following directors along with their family members, and I extend a warm welcome to each one of them. Sri Ashok Harnhalli, former Advocate General of Karnataka; Sri Rammohan Rao Pelle, former CGM of SBI and the founding MD of SBI General Insurance; Sri U.R. Bhatt, a leading investment banker from Mumbai; Sri Keshav K. Desai, an industrialist from Hubli; Sri Dharmasthala Surendra Kumar, a leading educationalist; Madam Maithili Ramesh, an IT expert and former senior vice president of Wipro; and our additional director, Sri V.R. Ashok, a distinguished chartered accountant from Chennai. I heartily welcome our legal advisor, Sri M.E. Shankar Bhatt, and also our statutory auditors, Messrs. Manohar Chaudhary and Associates, represented by its partner, Sri Murali Mohan, and Messrs. Badri Madhusudan and Srinivasan, represented by its partner, Sri T.V. Sudarshan and Sri Rajendran, who are sitting here to this function. I also welcome Sri Ruchin Goyal and Sri Pratik Rumta and their team, representing BCG, our transformation partner. Pratik? Yeah, they are sitting there, yeah. Host of luminaries from Mangaluru, Mumbai, and other parts of India, fellow bankers, elected representatives, officials of district and city administration, valued customers and well-wishers of our bank from all over the country, and our past directors and shareholders are all with us today. My heartiest welcome to each one of them. I am also happy to recognize the august presence of Swami Viveka Chaitanyananda, President Ramakrishna Tapovan Padali, he is sitting there, and Captain Ganesh Karnik, ex-MLC from Karnataka government, and Mr. Satish Marathe, RBI Director, he is sitting here, and Sri Satish U. Pai and Madam Sandhya Pai, and all the serving as well as retired members of staff of Karnataka Bank. I recognize the august presence of Srimati Shubha Jairam Bhatt, Annapurna Mahabaleshwar, and Madam Uma Devi Krishna Bhatt, and all other leading ladies of KBL family. I also recognize the gracious presence and extend a warm welcome to the representatives of various channel partners and business associates. I also welcome the members of print and electronic media, and my hearty welcome to Srimati Ushalata S, Assistant Station Director of All India Radio, Mangaluru, and her team who have arranged to air this program live. Warm welcome to Sri Leelakshabi Karkera and his team of Namakudla TV channel who are beaming this program live. And bank is also streaming this great event live on its official pages of YouTube, Facebook and Twitter, and to reach maximum number of our well-wishers and valued customers across the globe. We are also having live streaming of this program to all our 845 branches, 14 regional offices and other offices across India for the benefit of all our 8,500 plus staff members who are witnessing this event live at their respective branches and offices. This program will be followed by Hindustani Carnatic Classical Jugalbandi by Padma Bhushan Pandit Vishwamohan Bhatt on Mohan Vidhan, Vidwan Dr. Mysore Manjunath on violin, Padma Shri Pandit Vijay Ghate on tabla, and Vidwan Patri Satish Kumar on mridangam. I extend in advance a hearty welcome to all the artists as well. Once again, a warm welcome to all of you for this memorable Founders Day function of Karnataka Bank. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of warm welcome and introduction of our chief guest, and a warm welcome to you too, sir, to this beautiful evening of celebration. Flowers symbolize admiration and salutation. We are grateful to our chief guest for honoring us with her presence, and we would like to welcome Madam Bhattacharya with a floral bouquet, the KBL family. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Here we have a memorable gift for Madam Bhattacharya on behalf of the KBL family. A small memento, yet filled with all love and respect for your presence with us this evening. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, one and all. Ladies and gentlemen, the most awaited time of this evening has come.
Shri P. Jairam Bhatt, Chairman, Karnataka Bank, Shri Mahabaleshwar, MD, distinguished guests, employees of the bank, participants from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to deliver the keynote address at such an august gathering today. I am moved and honored by your invitation and begin by congratulating the bank for rendering excellent customer service for 96 long years to the people of this country. This bank, I understand, was set up in the aftermath of the patriotic zeal that engulfed the country during India's freedom movement, and it is those values that have imbued its workings ever since. I wish the bank all success in the days to come. Frankly, the kind of welcome I got over here was really overwhelming. In fact, you know, the amount of fish I've been fed, though extremely delicious, is enough to put me to sleep. The problem with the keynote address is it puts even the audience to sleep. So I will try my very best today to ensure that neither of us do that. I have been asked today to give you a peek into the future of banking. To say that I know for sure what is going to happen is really unwise. However, we can make some very informed guesses. The most important thing, though, is that banking, as well as many other disciplines, will soon become multidisciplinary, and the backbone on which all of this will run will be technology. Maybe we should think of future banking like an organic being, where the brain is technology, the spine, 5G, or whatever G it is, connectivity. But I'm sure that the heart will have its space, as human beings are social animals, and no equations can still perfectly replicate the human behavior. So today, if we are looking at the future of banking, basically we are talking about technology, we are talking about connectivity. Sciences and arts are all coming together to render an experience that none of us as yet can really imagine. In a manner of speaking, we are witness to a key moment in history, a moment which seems to portend a golden future. Technology seems to be holding out the promise of solutions to many insurmountable problems facing mankind. We know from history that human beings have always thrived when they have communicated and collaborated. This is now made possible by technology on an unprecedented scale. In fact, look at something like Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. How many of you here have found your long-lost school friends on Facebook? I have, and I'm sure if I ask for a show of hands, a lot of you will say that you have too. One other thing that you can find on Facebook are borrowers who are not paying, especially the student loan borrowers, who can't help but talk about the new jobs that they have got on their Facebook pages, but which they don't want to reveal to the banks. But it's a very great source of finding them. But this very platforms enables collaboration and cooperation to a degree that was unheard of before. So today, if you're looking for somebody to fill up a particular job, you go into LinkedIn, you'll find at least 20 suitable resumes, which in the earlier years, you never could have got. So technology, by bringing together mankind, by bringing together people, is actually providing us a huge number of solutions to problems that were insurmountable before. Consider, for instance, financial inclusion. You know, from the year 2010, SBI has been trying to do what is called financial inclusion. And I remember the first cards that were given out in the Northeast, because the Northeast was most affected at that point of time, happened sometime, I think, before 2010. And it was an initiative that was taken with all earnestness. But it was not till 2014 that we really got into what is called financial inclusion, and that happened at the time of the PMJDY, the Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana. What was the reason that it actually became a success, one of the main reasons, of course, was connectivity, mobile connectivity. And the other reason was our ability to give an identity to the people happened at that point of time. Our bank, that is my erstwhile bank, opened something like 11 crore accounts in a matter of 7 months. 97% of these accounts were zero balance. And there were lots of people who actually asked us, is this a political stunt? Is this really going to make a difference? Today, those very same accounts have deposits of 33,000 crores. It always sounds very impressive if you say it in dollars. So I will say that amount represents $14.7 billion. So you can imagine the unmet need of the people that was there, which could be met because of the empowerment that happened through technology. Today, of these people, as many as 21 lakhs have been sanctioned loans, and 11 lakhs of them have actually availed of those loans. And the moment people start availing of loans, and they don't only have savings accounts, that is when their financial inclusion really starts making an impact, because they start leveraging on their deposits in order to improve their lifestyles. So financial inclusion was one of the benefits we got out of technology. But it is not only connectivity, it is not only financial inclusion, but in every other area that you look at, technology is opening up new vistas. Imagine the area of medicine. Today, you can have medications that are tailored to your DNA. You can have, for instance, the other day in the TCS Innovation Center, I was being shown, you know about knee replacements, right? A knee replacement normally is an operation that takes 3 to 4 hours, because the knee replacements all come at a particular size. And when they are supposed to be put in, your bones have to be shaped in order to take that implant. Today, by using 3D imaging and 3D printing, a knee replacement that exactly fits you can be made, and this can then be implanted by using something like laparoscopic surgery, so that actually a knee implant, you need to be in hospital just for 1 day. That is the kind of advances that we are seeing in medications today. Medicine is again something where you are now beginning to actually imprint organs so that there will be no rejection of organs. That is the kind of stuff that is happening in the area of medicine. In the area of sustainability, look how the cost of solar panels have come down. We are now told that there are paints that if you put on a house, it will generate enough electricity for you to manage to run your equipments in the house during the daytime just from the paint, which acts like a solar panel. So whether it be the human condition on account of connectivity, whether it be areas of banking like financial inclusion, whether it be human health in the form of medication, whether it be greening the earth in sustainability, all of these things today are possible through technology. It is hardly therefore possible that banking can stay away from this, and that banking will not become heavily dependent upon the progresses that technology makes. However, remember one thing, technology is neither good nor bad. And in the hands of the wrong people, technology can go enormously wrong. And even in the area of banking, I don't know how many of you are sufferers over here, there are people who have suffered because of technology. So whether it is something like theft of identity, whether it is something like phishing, where your bank details have been taken and within seconds your bank account has been emptied out, whether it could be something like profiling. I determine that such a profile of a person means that person will be a bad borrower, and therefore I will not lend money to that person. We are, for instance, we were told that, if you find a person who is between, say, 32 to 35 years old, is married and has 2 children, that person will be a very good borrower. Whereas a person who's unmarried at the age of, say, 37, has no children, doesn't call home, is not necessarily going to be a good borrower. You may actually end up, therefore, charging that person very much more, even though he may not really be the kind of person you are thinking he is. But it is technology that is profiling you, and therefore asking you to do things which may not really be correct. So the fact remains that the technology, while it empowers, it can also have a negative impact. It can also make things difficult for people. Similarly, another very big issue that is facing the world today, especially where technology is concerned, is loss of privacy. Loss of privacy is something that we all talk about. It's different, of course, that today's generation doesn't seem to consider privacy all that important. In fact, their most private moments are all there on social media for everybody to look at. That's a separate issue. But the fact remains that with loss of privacy, you also lose control of your lives. And therefore, to that extent, this is something, again, that people who are adopting technology need to be very aware of. And if you as a bank are considering having a lot of data on your people, how do you ensure that that data does not get into the wrong hands, that that data remains with the person to whom it belongs? So all of these are challenges that face us today. But in spite of this, the march of evolution will not cease. And those who fail to recognize it do so at their own peril. The thing that is different about the 4th Industrial Revolution, as it is called today, is the enormous speed of change. This speed is set to accelerate because today technologies are simply building on each other. It is the coupling of artificial intelligence with augmented reality and virtual reality, analytics, natural language processing, 5G, the Internet of Things that is causing this rapid advance. Because current technology learns from experience. Today, if anything is discovered in the US, it takes only how many hours to reach China? Any idea? How many hours will it take for a new discovery to reach China? It takes 16 hours, and that too because of time zone differences. Because these people are sleeping while the US is awake, and vice versa. But it just takes 16 hours for it to travel to China. Growth, therefore, has become self-reinforcing. But besides that, what are the other challenges that the use of technology forces us to overcome? Take, for example, artificial intelligence. Take, for example, today, there is an application that looks at your medical data and then predicts whether you are a candidate for cardiac illness. Okay? There may be 3 or 4 such applications. Now, hospitals start using these applications. As they use it, one application seems to be giving better results. Now, the moment that application gives better results, more and more hospitals start adopting that application. And as this particular application gets more and more cases, its predictions become better and better and better. And now, what happens then is that the rest of the applications start getting lesser usages, lesser users, and therefore their predictability gets to be far worse. And as a result, ultimately what is happening is that you are creating something like a monopoly where the winner takes all. That is again another feature of the threat that technology poses. As such, the chances are that while we are looking at adopting very many things, we have to determine what is it that we actually need to adopt in order to get the best results. While you may be having several applications before you, and I am sure while Karnataka Bank is going on its journey, it might be shown a number of these applications. The trick lies in coming up with the right kind of application so that you get the right kind of results. Further, we also must remember that technology is evolving very fast, and therefore destruction of certain applications can also be as swift as its build-up. As such, we also have to understand what is the return that we are going to get when we put our money behind many of these solutions. However, another problem that faces us is to realize when to put money behind a particular technology. When has the time come? I remember even when I was a small kid, I was told that robotics in Japan is very advanced. They have robo-pets, they have robo-caretakers, but it never seemed to go to the rest of the world. However, suddenly, there is today a proliferation of robotics. In fact, 3 years back when I visited my branch in Nepal, I was greeted by a robo-greeter. And I was really surprised. This was a branch in Nepal, mind you. And just, I think, last week, I read about a robo-waitress in Afghanistan, of all the places. So suddenly you are seeing that the world is waking up to robotics. Now, is it therefore, in fact, we already have a robo-greeter in HDFC Bank, though I don't know how far they are successful with it, but they do have a robo-greeter. So if you are looking at technology, is it the right time to put your money in robotics? Take for instance something like quantum computing. Now many of us don't even know what quantum computing is, but the word is being used everywhere, and we are told it will take about 10 years for quantum computing to come into mainstream application. When do you start investing in quantum computing? Take for instance another word which is there everywhere, every day, blockchain. Now from blockchain, I have talked to many people, and the wisest person was the one who told me that blockchain is a solution waiting for a problem. So you know, there are so many things that are out over there, and we don't know which are the technologies that we should invest in. Now if you look at blockchain, what is blockchain basically? Blockchain, if you say it in layman's language, it's like a ledger. Okay, and it's a ledger where anybody who is authorized can look in. And obviously if it is a single ledger, whoever looks in will see the same picture. Okay, and if you change anything there, it will leave a trail so that everybody will know that you are the person who has changed something there. That seems to be a very good technology. Imagine if it was used for something like your land records. Okay? Now if it is used for your land records and you have gone to the bank for a home loan, the bank will take exactly 15 seconds to use the blockchain solution to look at your 30-year land record, and will be then able to tell you whether you have a clean record and will be able to give you the loan. Alright? But why is that something that is not being used today? One of the reasons is that there are several groups who are trying out blockchain. From last count, there were more than 39 serious groups trying out blockchain, but none of these groups talk to each other. They don't have a common language. It's like a Tower of Babel. Each one is doing stuff within themselves. Why? Because they all know that there is a big commercial opportunity, and if they cooperate with each other, they may lose out on that commercial opportunity. They are all hoping that they'll become the Amazon of blockchain. that they will capture the whole thing so that they get that commercial opportunity. But in the meanwhile, there are all kinds of small groups that are trying out all kinds of different experiments to determine whether this is something that will work. But the result is that all of this is in the prototype stage. Not a single one of these operations have gone mainline. But if you are a bank, and if you are seeing all around you, people are talking blockchain, are experimenting with blockchain, is this the right time for you to start doing that? Let me relate to you very short way my experience in SBI. When I went into SBI in 2014, SBI didn't have a presence in the social media. SBI had no digital strategy. And when I insisted that we go on the social media, the first thing that my MD said was that you're going to get trolled in social media. We were that confident about our customer service, okay? So we knew that we are going to get trolled there. So I said, fine, if we get trolled, so be it. We will then know what is wrong with us, so you have to be on social media. I must tell you, by the time I left the bank, we were number one on all social media. And in Facebook, we were number one in the world. Of course, mainly because China is not on Facebook. That's the reason. But still, we were number one there. Okay? Now, when it came to the digital strategy, when I said that we need a digital strategy, a number of my people came back and said, Madam, we don't understand what you're talking about. Because we already have the internet banking. We have mobile banking. What's digital? That's digital. That's not digital. And frankly, when we actually embarked on the journey, I was surprised to see that IBM, who was our partner, even they felt that was digital. They also needed to be explained that digital is something totally different. Every single process is different. And I will give you a very small example of what I had said then as to what should be digital. Many of you have accounts which have checkbooks, right? In fact, I think all of you have accounts which have checkbooks. Now, when there are just 3 or 4 leaves left in a checkbook, what do? You send in a requisition form. In a digital system, you would not have to send in any forms. The digital system would recognize how many checks you normally use per month, okay? And depending upon, say you use 5 checks a month. So therefore, when you have used up your 6th last check, it would automatically dispatch the next checkbook to you. That's digital. Similarly, all of you must be having PPF accounts, Public Provident Fund accounts. All of you know that after the 4th year, you can withdraw 1/4 of your PPF savings. And you can invest that in something else if you want to. Now, how many of you actually go and do that withdrawal? The first reason is you forget about it. The second reason is it's one of the most difficult things for a bank to get it out of a bank. Because, and I'm talking about SBI because we were authorized to open PPF accounts right from the beginning. Because you had to calculate the interest of each year, then you have to work out 1/4 of that, then you have to make out the payment. All of that has to be done manually. Nobody's interested in doing it. And yet in a digital process, the moment a 1/4 became due to you, you could actually get a small SMS that would tell you that your PPF account balance is this. This is the amount that you can take if you wish to. If you wish to, click on this link and the amount will be in your account. That's digital. So you know, when we are talking digital, we are talking a different world altogether. We are not talking about the processes that we have today. It is not a replication of we are making the same mistake that we made when we went from manual to computerization. We exactly replicated what we were doing manually into the computerized system and therefore made a mess of things. Now when we are going from the computerized system into a digital world, unless and until we understand that our processes need to change, we will never be truly digital. And truly digital is where everything is headed. In fact, when I started in this entire thing in the bank, what we did was, because it was so difficult for people to really understand what was happening, we decided that we will create a few branches. So we created 7 flagship branches in 7 malls in India. Okay, we didn't go to other places, we went to malls, because malls have a lot of footfalls, and I wanted not only my customers but even my staff and their families to go visit these branches and see what it was all about. The entrance of the branch, and this was sometime in 2015, so it was quite early on, 2015-16. The entrance of the branches, of course, had your ATM and your cash deposit machine, your check deposit machine, your multifunction kiosk, your passbook printer machine. Once you went inside, and this portion was open 24/7, but once you went inside, you had a lot of screens. And on the screens, you could play around. For instance, you could go touch on the screen and say, I want a car loan. And the screen would ask you, do you want a used car or a new car? And you can choose. And then it would ask you how much you want to spend. Given the amount you want to spend, it will show you all the models. Then if you click on a model, it will show you what social media is saying about that model, what the manufacturer is saying about that model, and then it will ask you, do you need a loan? And if you say yes, it will ask you a few basic questions about how much you earn and how much you spend. And then it will generate for you an EMI, and you can adjust the EMI depending upon how many years you want to pay it in, or what is your ability to pay. And then it can even generate for you a pre-approval letter. A pre-approval letter, because obviously it is subject to a lot of checking. But all of this was possible. And when we created these branches, they actually looked so very different that people were amazed to see these branches, and they were in the metro cities. And it created a buzz, not only amongst the customers, but also amongst our own people. And our people then began to realize that yes, we are on a journey. We are on a journey of transformation. Of course, these things are never without any hiccups. And we did have in the branch the ability to open an account with your fingerprint scan and your Aadhaar number in 14 minutes flat, including printing of the debit card that your MD was talking about. The only sad thing is, I decided that this being one of its kind, I would take the then governor, Dr. Rajan, to one of these branches and open his account. So obviously, we practiced for 3 whole days. 3 days up and down, we kept practicing, made sure everything was fine. So Dr. Rajan came to the branch, suitably impressed by looking at the screens, looking at the investment tables. They looked like tables out of Star Trek, where you could put your investment goals and do everything over there, play around with your goals and everything. And then came the moment of truth of opening his account. We did everything, asked him to scan his fingerprint, and the Aadhaar didn't download. So we tried again, wouldn't download. Desperate call to Mr. Jambunathan, who was my CIO at that point of time, and he says, Madam, can't help it, the government server is down. So that was it. We couldn't open his account. So you will have those glitches. But having said that, the fact remains that the digital journey is something that we need to understand is a basic change in the way we are doing things. And unless and until we really go for it, things will not happen. YONO was the outcome of this digital journey. We started in 2015. YONO is the application of State Bank of India, as you know, and it's a short form of You Only Need One. And YONO is supposed to be an application that allows you to do your banking, as well as allows you to connect to any other site you want. So we have over 100 partners, and very recently I was reading an article from the current chairman, Rajneesh of SBI, and he says that we now have 25 million people on YONO with 70,000 registrations per day. And the amount of personal loan portfolio that they have built up on YONO is something like 14,000 crores. Okay? Now the cost of YONO that he has mentioned over there was 800 crores. But I am sure that is only up to now, and there will be further costs going ahead. So the digital journey is not a cheap journey. But once you have adopted it, it will pay back for itself. Because believe me, if you have a portfolio of 14,000 crores, you're getting like something like 1,600 crores per year in interest. So it will pay you back. But the journey is something that we have to take. Now, we thought we really said that we should have a look at a peek in the future as to what it should look like. So now let's try and envisage the life of a bank employee 5 years hence. And these scenarios that I am giving you are scenarios that have been discussed on public forums. Okay? So say the person gets woken up by a digital assistant, Alexa plus plus. This is not Alexa, this is Alexa's current version. Okay? So Alexa, by the time it wakes up person A, let's call him A, or Amit, let's call him Amit. By the time Alexa wakes up Amit, his breakfast is already being prepared as per his diet plan. His tea water is already on, and he's woken up by Alexa, and he is told by Alexa that your Uber has been ordered, depending upon the traffic that we expect during this day, and probably you are going to get a new boss. So you should probably dress in this manner, because the boss that you are getting is very conservative, likes to see you dressed in a conservative manner. So it will tell you what you are to dress in. It will tell you how you are going to go to the office. It will even probably tell you what your boss's mood is like if your boss has been posting on social media. Okay? And then, in due time, your Uber will arrive. And in all probability, if you're in a smart city, it will be a driverless Uber. So you will get into it, you'll come to the office. During the journey, you will be briefed about the clients that you are meeting and what the client's problems will probably be, given their record in the bank. You get into the bank, and then you can immediately get into an augmented reality or virtual reality training module and refresh the kind of things that you need to talk to the client about, refresh your knowledge about that. In the meanwhile, you will also be reminded on your own account by your banker that there is a long weekend coming up, and the bank knows that you have been going to vacations to mountain hillsides. So it will give you a few deals of that nature as well and tell you this is something that you can book. The bank will also know, given the fact that your accounts are there, alongside your wife's name is given, your daughter's name is given, so it knows everything about your family. It will also probably tell you that your wife's birthday is coming up, and given by her spend patterns, will probably tell you that she loves saris, so here is a deal for a sari shop as well. Now that is exactly the kind of thing that is going to happen in the future. And if you are peeping into the future of technology and into the future of banking, that's what is now well within the realms of reality. Now you need to sit back and determine how close is your banking to this. And if it isn't, how do you get there? You know, very often I have been asked that, what keeps you awake at night? Of course, this was when I was chairman. Nowadays, nobody asks me that. They know I sleep well. But when I was chairman, very often I was asked this. And most people expected I would say NPAs. But really speaking, I am telling you, NPAs didn't keep me awake at night. Because I knew I was doing my level best for the NPAs. There was nothing more I could do. That I would solve it or I may not solve it depending upon what the situation would be like. So that was not what used to keep me awake. What did keep me awake? What kept me awake were these questions. What happens to our workforce when 90% of the routine tasks get automated by artificial intelligence? That's a question that really used to keep me awake. My way of answering it was starting the Wealth Management Initiative. Because I thought that there are two things where human beings want the touch of another human being. One is health and the other is money. The two things that is dearest to all of us, okay, over and above your loved ones, is health and money. So no matter what your robo-advisor tells you, you still want somebody to tell you, yes boss, this is the right decision to take. So that's one of the reasons why I started the Wealth Advisory, because I thought that bankers would migrate from becoming accountants into advisors. Just like your family physician, they would need to hold your hand through every stage of your life. The second question that I used to have is, how can one provide a differentiated customer experience in a world of digital assistants? After all, as I said, AI tends to become a kind of a monopoly. So if I have a digital assistant, my competing bank will also have a digital assistant, and they will all sound similar because they are dealing with similar products. So how do I differentiate one from the other, and what is it that I can give to my customer that will be additional so that my customer will remain with me and not go off to somebody else? That is something that really bears thinking about, because digital assistants will have their limitations. How do you ensure that those limitations you take care in a far better way, that the handoff between a digital assistant and an actual living person is far smoother and happens whenever you trace any kind of anxiety in the person being addressed by the digital assistant? That will ensure that your assistant or your experience given by that assistant is better than that of your competing bank. So the fact is that you must never lose sight of the human angle. And if you don't lose sight of the human angle, by ensuring that you are responding to the human pieces of the interaction, you should be in a position to stay a step ahead. The third question that I used to have is, how do we create a collaborative ecosystem when we are also competitors? You look at YONO. YONO at the end of it all cannot only be a banking software. It is also a software where it should allow you to approach e-commerce platforms, to enable you to do your bookings, to enable you to buy tickets, to do all of that. Now the fact remains that if I am going to also create these people as partners, people who are also actually having things like wallets, where they want my customer to keep their money, how do we then collaborate and yet compete? How does one do that? It seems to be a conflict, but it can't be a conflict. We need to find a way. And the way to do that is you have to come up with win-win solutions. You have to come up with ways of sharing your customer and hoping that your customer experience remains that much superior, so that even while sharing, that person is not able to take away your customer. It's a very fine balance, but it is a war worth fighting. And you have to do that in a manner that shows that at the end of the day, you are not going to take it all, that it is going to be a win-win situation. The fourth question that again used to bother a lot of us is, what about cyber crimes? What about the fact, as I said, how do I keep things safe? And there the only answer is, you have to be as vigilant as possible. The only way of ensuring against this is, you have to be one step ahead of the guys
Step towards becoming a clean energy campus with the introduction of the solar project. Thank you. Spirituality and scientific temper. Good luck to you to serve in this activity.
Distinguished chief guest of today's function, Madam Arundhati Bhattacharya, my fellow directors on the board, Sri M.S. Mahabaleshwar, MD of the bank, former directors, fellow bankers, our distinguished invitees, customers, shareholders, my colleagues and ex-colleagues, members from print and media, a very good evening. A delightful lecture we have heard today. A peep into the future banking. How nicely it has been narrated by an expert in banking, Madam Arundhati Bhattacharya. We enjoyed this. In fact, she gave a clear picture as to what is in store to all the banks, all the scheduled commercial banks, henceforwards. In fact, I am overwhelmed with joy that we, the audience, enjoyed it fully. And you know, everybody wants to know what is in future for the banking. You told that it is multidisciplinary now, that bankers do all the jobs. Finally, we say we also do banking. That is the importance now, because banking has taken the back steps and all other activities have come in the forefront, and now we also do banking. And she has narrated the importance of technology, how technology is playing a major role in banking. Yes, the technology investment for banks has risen tremendously, I should say. And the right technology we have to use at right place. That is what she has warned. And if at all we are spending for technology, we should not spend the amount for wrong things or wrong selection of the hardwares, whatever may it be. The right choice should be there so that our investment will be optimum to use the best for the banking. And she warned us on cyber threat. Yes, all the bankers are now worried about cyber threat. And she told that we should be one step ahead of what the people are in the cyber threat area. That means we should have experts in the field of technology, and we should employ those experts and spend more for that to fight for this cyber threat. Yes, we are also doing it, madam. We are aware of it, the cyber threat which we are facing. And right kind of applications to get the right kind of results. A very important statement she has made. A right kind of applications to get the right kind of results. This is very important. My IT colleagues will pause and once again read this sentence and work on that, because when they select the applications, they should be very, very careful so that we spend the right amount for the right application to get the right results. And she has clearly narrated what is digital banking. She told mobile banking is not a digital banking, or internet banking is not a digital banking. Digital banking is something else, and that is exactly what we are doing in our KPL Vikas. That what a very, very dear thing what our present MD has taken up in the last 2 years, and we went for digital banking, exactly the digital banking. We opened a Digi Bank in the footsteps what we have learned from State Bank of India. In fact, when State Bank of India opened Digi branch, in fact in Mangalore also, in Vijay we have a digital bank, DigiBank, and I also visited at that time because I was also curious to know what is DigiBanking. And it was opened in Mangalore also, and as you said, everything is there. It is 24/7, and this DigiBanking we also opened in our Basangudi, and it is working very well. And all other digital activities we have started, and we are into tab banking now, like opening of SB accounts in the tabs, opening of loan accounts in the tabs. All these things we have already started, and you have given us the right direction, and we have already peeped into the future banking. That's what I can say. Friends, I will not deal much with what Mrs. Bhattacharya has told, because she has to leave now to the airport. I will summarize that this speech, what Madam Bhattacharya gave us, was a clear insight into our future banking, and we in the private sector, we are eager to catch up those banking activities and to stand in the forefront of the banking sector and give the best service to our loyal customers. We have all loyal customers here, and we assure you on behalf of MD that we will give the best of best service by using this technology. In fact, we started core banking in 2000 when our past chairman MS Krishna Bhatt and Anand Krishna were there. They thought that that is the future banking, and we introduced this core banking somewhere in 2000 when no other bankers have started, and we reaped the benefits out of that, and now we have entered into the third phase of this digital banking, and we are into it and reaping the benefits now. I am glad that our bank is growing fast, and we have about 1,26,000 crores of turnover, and we have almost reached a good profit, net profit last year. Bank's health is measured by its return on assets, capital adequacy level, and return on equity. These are the three parameters: return on assets, capital adequacy level, and return on equity. For private sector banks, capital raising is a challenging exercise. You know, we have to canvas capital from the public, not like the nationalized banks where government is giving the capital. The investors have also become very choosy. Investors means those who invest in capital, they have become very choosy, calculative, and more intelligent. Preservation of capital without allowing it to get diluted on account of increase in non-interest earning, non-performing assets is a responsibility of the management and especially of the staff members. I am repeating it because we have to preserve the capital. That means you should not increase the NPAs so that we increase the non-interest bearing assets, and this is the responsibility of each one of us in the bank. Nowadays, depositors are also selective and do not blindly invest in bank deposits simply because interest rate of that particular bank is high compared to others. If one particular bank is paying more interest on deposits, the deposits are not blindly going to that bank and investing because they are also very intelligent now, and they will choose the bankers. They look at the stability of the bank and ultimately the safety of their deposits. The Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation of India has recently increased the safety net to rupees 5 lakhs to build the confidence level of depositors, which is a very welcome move. Our bank has just taken up the exercise of raising its equity to have a healthy buffer level over the regulatory requirements. RBI is our regulator, and that has prescribed some minimum level of capital holding, and we always hold a slightly higher amount than what is required. That is called the buffer amount, and hence bank has come out with the proposal of QAP, and has sought the nod of shareholders. We have sent the letters to all the shareholders. As a chairman of the bank, I seek the full support of the shareholders for this, because that resolution has to be passed. We have already sent a letter to all the shareholders. Meanwhile, as the MD has put it, as a goodwill gesture, bank has also proposed to reward with a bonus gift to our shareholders. I think since after a very long time we are giving this bonus gift by issuing 1 share to every 10 shares held by them, and by your continued support, I am hopeful that bank will become further strong to serve you better and bring a win-win situation for all the stakeholders. So friends, continue to support us, continue to support Karnataka Bank. Bank is growing year after year under the able leadership of the present MD, Mr. Mahabaleshwar, and let it grow and celebrate this centenary year with all vigor and strength. Friends, on this occasion, we salute our founders and invoke their continued blessings to rededicate ourselves to achieve more, to create value for all concerned. We are grateful to our valued customers, shareholders, investors for their continued support and patronage. We are also grateful to our well-wishers, friends and public who always value us with good respect and faith. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your ever-inspiring message and also assuring continued best currency we can make for ourselves and spend without the fear of bankruptcy. Feeling grateful and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. May I now request our Chief Business Officer, Shri Gokuldas Pai, to propose the vote of thanks.
Distinguished guest of the day, Srimati Arundhati Bhattacharya, esteemed Chairman Sri P. Jairam Bhatt, beloved Managing Director and CEO Sri Mahabaleshwar MS, respected directors on the board of the bank, all the distinguished invitees, shareholders, well-wishers of Karnataka Bank, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Great honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to bow my head in deep reverence and gratitude to the founding fathers of this great organization, to whom we are ever indebted for this priceless treasure called Karnataka Bank. I express my profound gratitude to Srimati Arundhati Bhattacharya for her gracious presence and for delivering Founders Day lecture.